Welcome Aries to your in-depth monthly horoscope for January 2026. I'm going to give you some standout details to begin with. Then on screen I'll share your event chart as you come into the new year. Always very powerful and provides a backdrop for the whole of the month. I'll then go through each of the influences in detail to give you a clear picture of what you can expect. If you've yet to order your personal forecast for the year ahead, you can do so and you'll get 12 full months from when you order it if you order in January. If you order it in December 2025, you'll get the rest of that year 3 and the whole of the following 12 months. You'll also get your life roadmap report, which is truly influential in terms of understanding our life journey. But at the checkout, if you apply the code ASTRO26, you'll get 50% off. So as you come into this new year, Aries, there's a big cluster of energy high in the sky. And I think you may have found yourself over recent years trying to reposition where your focus is in terms of your connection to the wider world. And part of the reason for this is Pluto. Pluto was making its way through your sector of success from 2008 through to November 2024 when it moved full time into Aquarius. Now Aquarius is very much the sign for you, which is about where you link to others. It can be through collaboration, cooperation, whereas Pluto in Capricorn was very much about sheer ambition, and the sign of Capricorn is very much about physical culmination. And this month there's a glorious mix of energies there, not least the sun, as it always is as you go into a new year, but you have Venus and Mars collaborating with the sun for the first 3 weeks or 2/3 of January. So your desire and ambition is going to blend well with your people skills that comes from Venus. But tucked away in the back of your chart is Saturn and Neptune. And Neptune is going to join you again on the 26th of January. If you recall, Neptune made its way into your sign at the end of March last year, but exited after 6 months. Well, it's back for the long haul now through to 2038, and that's really significant. If you recall, when Neptune made its way into Aries, we had a heat wave. When it went back into Pisces, we had nothing but rain, particularly in the UK. But also as this month goes on, there's going to be a big shift towards those connections to others. And if you have felt that you've been uncertain about what your long-term plan is, and it isn't working out for you in an old career sector or what you used to do, there may be a sense that something's come into a close. And I'll explore that more deeply with you. But those are the big themes of this month. On the screen now, I'm showing your event chart. Now, your ruler Mars is a fantastic influence. It's obviously hot, and in Capricorn, an earth sign, it uses its drive and passion, but in a very constructive way. It likes to be in Capricorn, it's exalted. But also you can see that Mars very close to the sun, but also to Venus. So whatever it is that you want to visualize in terms of your goals, they're going to be very important at the start of this year. What's not to like? Well, the process is not just setting our intentions, it's how we go about achieving them, and that is through communication. And these days communication can be quite complex because we don't always get the chance to have a human interface, and therefore that technological age that we're all caught up in has huge benefits, but it does make it difficult to display your passion, tenacity and personality power quite as openly as you would like. And Mercury, the planet which rules communication, is challenged strongly by Saturn and Neptune at the start of this new year. So just be conscious that if you've got any doubts or you're not quite sure of what you want to do, that uncertainty could feed into the amount of traction that you can gain in terms of chasing your hopes. But the moon at the start of this new year is in the bubbly Gemini. It's technically peregrine, so it's not so much of an emotional influence, but it is forging a great link to Pluto. So if you can use the communication or the fast communicational energies of the host Gemini and link to people, Pluto, around those goals and ambitions, that's going to help you to overcome to some degree, or challenge at least, Mercury's debilitating square to Neptune, which may cause confusion, and also Saturn. Now Neptune, as I mentioned before, is returning to your sign on the 26th. But if you are someone who's very clear on what you want to achieve, and you've got a very clarified set of aims, not just for January but for the year ahead, I actually feel you could take a giant step forwards in January this year. But it will be important to forge alliances, to create collaborations, and those networks are going to be tested or will come through for you. It depends on exactly where you are. But if you are unsure, collaborating and meeting up and connecting to others becomes a vital part of your journey later on in the month. The other thing to say is since February 2019, Chiron has been in your zodiac sign, asking you to become more conscious of your identity. If you feel you've worked on that well, it could be that you've strengthened your sense of self, built up greater resilience. But Jupiter is squaring off with Chiron at the start of this new year, so just be aware if you're not sure, despite Chiron going direct in your sign on the 2nd, it started its retrograde in July last year. If you're not sure, one of the things you shouldn't do is bluff. I don't think it will help you. So for example, if you have an important interview or you do an application, all that Capricornian energy, if there is something you're not quite so sure of course we can all fake it until we make it, but I think there will be times when if you're more authentically yourself, it will actually convey a better signal than trying too hard. But we have 4 Cazimis this month, the 6th, the 9th, the 21st and the 23rd, and the one on the 6th is Venus. Don't underestimate just how much your people skills can be important to progress. So whether you're having an interview or doing a presentation, don't underestimate your talent for that. And also Mars meets exactly with the Sun on the 9th. So that's very, very potent in Capricorn. And if something has felt frustrating for the first week of the new year, that's going to give you a mighty sense of passion and determination and grit to overcome any obstacles and push forwards with a great deal of conviction, and that can be very impressive to people. One of the things about Capricorn energy that is very positive is that it's so tenacious. It doesn't give up. It keeps chipping away even when things don't go exactly to plan. But the full moon that we have on the 3rd does ask you to stay in touch with your emotions, and in fact Jupiter being in your 4th house through to the end of June, that's going to be a theme that you need to adhere to, particularly with Jupiter initially in that square with Chiron and in a retrograde. So if you are feeling a bit unsure, or the environment that you work in isn't really working for you, it would be entirely understandable. But what I feel that you will find as we get to the new moon in Capricorn on the 18th, whatever ambitions you've got, I feel can be amplified in a positive way by doing solid research, that's Saturn in the 12th house, being conscious of where you can be more progressive, Uranus in house 2, because as we get to that new moon on the 18th, a big push again could see the door of opportunity spring open. But soon after, the Sun on the 20th moves to Aquarius, followed by Mercury to come into the 3rd Cazimi on the 21st. Your ideas can just become so much quicker. Your contacts book will be very important to you in the last 10 days of this month. Now Neptune returning to your sign, I agree, can be a delicate thing because of the watery nature, the aquatic nature of Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces applying to you, a hot, arid fire sign. And that's why we had those heat waves, I feel. But on the 23rd, the cazimi between the Sun and Pluto in Aquarius is probably the most key moment of the month, because Pluto in a way can deconstruct, but it also can reconstruct the phoenix. And what can change for you, maybe later this month, it could be about business alliances and relationships, could be about your long-term plan, it may be about some of your friendships at a social level, changes in the air. Some things might go, some things may need to be released, and when that happens we can be fearful because those things may have served a purpose. But if you really go with it, the latter part of this month has loads of green flags and lots of cheering you on, lots of support, but it is important that you're open to collaboration. You're very much an initiator, and that thrust, energy, excitement and drama that you bring to situations is why people can often really like you. But at times, when we work closely with others, we can share different attributes and qualities, and that's what you're being asked to do towards the end of this month. So that if there is a big shift around your work, come in with all that Capricornian energy, something you have done for a long time has changed because of technology, restructuring, a company or an organization has relocated, or you're working for yourself. It's all moving at such a pace for all of us who of any of us can completely keep up with it. It's breathtaking. But I think if you can tap into that part of you that can be able to see trends very quickly and then have the confidence to take action, I think that's the most exciting part of your nature, and that can shine out brightly as you get to the end of this month. So I think it is a month when you can be optimistic, you can work your way towards goals and ambitions. You do need to stay in touch with your vulnerabilities and sensitivities. Jupiter opposite the Sun, Jupiter square Chiron, Jupiter opposite Mars, which is around the 8th. Impatience won't serve you well at that time, and be philosophical. If some things are making way, or some things have made way over the last couple of years, and you have been slowly but surely winding down something that used to be very important, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whether it is how you earned your living, but a fresh, bright new future is being manifested for you later this month if you can go with the flow. All the best, Aries, and thank you so much for joining me.